As young adults, there are four objects that the majority of our generation always tend to leave the house with. That being our keys, our phone, our wallets, and our electronic nicotine vape. You or a close friend or family member are probably one of these people who can't and won't leave the house without checking their pockets to make sure that their vape is in there before stepping out the door. Nicotine addiction is a huge problem. Growing up, we were always taught that smoking cigarettes was bad and it would cause cancer, and it had a huge effect on our health. We all collectively had an understanding that smoking was something we shouldn't do. We saw it as something nasty and unwanted. But now through these strategic businesses who purposely aim for younger audiences, such as Flamingo Tech Limited, Jewel Lab Inc., Geek Vapes, and more, who mass produce flavored nicotine in order to attract more people to keep the tobacco industry alive. Now we'd like to remind you on why you should leave off nicotine. In our speech, we'll touch upon the decline of health due to vaping, the effects vaping causes to your brain, and why people start smoking, and how we can help.
The issue with nicotine addiction and electronic vaping are the general problems as traditional smoking. The contents of vaping include almost the same vapors as smoking, but use different material or chemicals to substitute tobacco. The use of similar chemicals, as well as the idea of the safe smoking, gives audiences the idea to vape and be addicted to nicotine. As said by Lori Collier Hillstorm, the vaping controversy. Pro-vaping advocate characterizes concerns about the safety of e-cigarettes as unwanted and overblown, especially considering that the alternative for many adult vapors is smoking cigarettes, which causes the premature death of 500,000 Americans every year. Nicotine affects the younger audience in a way that mentally changes their productivity, awareness, and thought process, as well as changes their moods or emotions in a way that could affect them harmfully. When consumers buy and use vapes and nicotine, they are creating the issue of the images of vaping or nicotine that is good for you. Like described by Andrew Cartman, Vaping Volume 1st Edition, cigarettes combustion rather than either tobacco or nicotine is the cause of public health disaster. Nicotine still being used in vapes is still the issue that attracts teens and other adults to continue buying and damaging themselves. As explained in the article Lori Collier of Hillstorm, The Vaping Controversy, nicotine poses a particular hazard for young people because it permanently affects the reward circuits in developing brains, increasing the likelihood that young vapors will smoke cigarettes or seek stimulation from other drugs such as marijuana, cocaine, or methamphetamine. The use of nicotine causes people to be highly addictive with more than high concentration in general vape or e-cigarettes. The use of nicotine or continuously smoking or vaping can cause people to have high risk of breathing problems or lung problems. The more use of nicotine, the more addicted the person will get to smoking. Better to quit overall than to cause harm to your own with the use of vapes. Now, as we continue to our second point, the basis of nicotine habits, what is there to know about the effects given when vaping or the use of nicotine?
Learning, memory, and attention. Repeated use of vaping causes changes in our brain's pathways and alters parts of the brain involved in learning, stress, and self-control. This can make it very difficult to stop vaping. When wanting to have someone to quit nicotine, having a good reason for them to stop can help motivate someone when breaking a habit. Talking to them about why they should stop, such as the negative health impacts. Quitting vaping is one of the best things you'll ever do for your health. Withdrawal can be challenging, but it can help if you look at the symptoms as your body is recovering. Common symptoms can include craving, restlessness, trouble concentrating or sleeping, irritability, anxiety, withdrawal symptoms. Many people find withdrawal symptoms disappear completely after 2 to 4 weeks, although for some people it may last longer. Now that we know about why nicotine is addictive, I'll now speak on how it can damage your brain. Vaping can have health risks for youth. Most vapes have nicotine, which is very addictive. Nicotine used in adolescence can harm brain development, which continues until about age 25. Not only can nicotine and e-cigarettes pose health risks for youth, but young people who vape can be more likely to move on to regular cigarettes. Teen and young adults are also uniquely at risk for long-term, long-lasting effects or exposing their developing brains to nicotine, and these risks include nicotine addiction, mood disorders, and permanent lowering of impulse control. Nicotine can change the way synapses are formed, which can harm parts of the brain that control attention and learning. Certain ingredients in vapes have been linked to lung injuries and increased risk of nicotine poisoning. More than 2,800 e-cigarettes users required hospital admission in February 2020. 68 of these people died. Most cases were amongst teens and young adults. Typically, symptoms have started gradually with shortness of breath and/or chest pain. Particles you inhale while vaping can cause inflammation and irritation in the lungs. This can lead to lung damage like scarring and narrowing of the tubes that bring air in and out of the lungs.
Now I'm going to show you a clip more about vaping and how common it is in our generation.
Your new tool is quickly becoming the most popular Christmas gift of 2023.
It replaces up to. Vaping can be quite the controversial topic and even confusing at times. Now, we actually did a video on vaping about 2 years ago where a lot of these debates and questions came up. So today,
For context, EVALI is an acronym and it stands for e-cigarettes or vaping use associated lung injury.
particular study of 573 individuals affected with EVALI, the majority of these people reported getting vaping products from illicit off-the-street sources or from informal sources like friends and family. And others even reported that they created their own homemade liquid that they added to previously used cartridges. Did some of the patients in this study with EVALI report getting their vaping products from more reputable, more vetted sources? Yes. But you can see how this totally muddies the water with all these particular vaping products from different sources with potential different ingredients or contaminants that could contribute to possible negative outcomes of vaping. So that gives us a bit of information to digest with one of the main short-term risks of vaping, that risk of developing EVALI. And we're going to come back to this in THC and the other ingredients, but for us to kind of put the whole picture together with vaping, we have to look a little bit further down the road with some of the long-term potential risks. One of the main long-term concerns with vaping is how it's affecting the younger population, those that are in middle school and high school. And at the end of 2022, the FDA and the CDC released data that estimated 1 in 10 or 2.5 million people in those age groups were utilizing e-cigarettes or some sort of vaping products. Yes, there is concern that they could potentially develop EVALI in the short term, but many of the vaping products also contain things like nicotine. So there's concerns for developing long-term dependence or addiction, and also potentially creating a gateway to trying other things. Or in other words, could this increase their risk of maybe wanting to try something like traditional cigarettes? And speaking of traditional cigarettes,
Knowing that most people got EVALI from their friends and family is very concerning. Please also inform your loved ones about the dangers and the harmful effects of nicotine. Despite the widespread awareness of that, people still smoke. So how can we help persuade people to stop? But first, let's look at why most people smoke in the first place. According to smokefree.gov, a website dedicated to help people quit smoking, most people smoke to relieve stress, a temporary escape from life's daily challenges. This connects to the fact that nicotine gives dopamine and a temporary sense of relaxation. And according to mentalhealthuk.org, our website that helps people with their mental health problems, nicotine enters the brain in only about 10 seconds, and about 80 to 90% of people who smoke regularly are already addicted to nicotine. Although as stated by the Gale Encyclopedia of Science in the entry Vaping and E-cigarettes, not all e-cigarettes or vapes contain nicotine, but the foreign substances inhaled from the vape can most likely cause lung problems. Moving on why people smoke, how can we help persuade people to stop? One way to do that is by supporting campaigns or organizations on the dangers of smoking. For instance, the American Lung Association. Organizations as big as these can help through education, celebrity endorsements, community involvement, and they have a big social media presence. The American Lung Association directly helps about 20 million people each year, not only with people's addiction to nicotine, but also any disease that are related to the lungs. And we can support them by either donating, volunteering, becoming an advocate, or by joining events, or maybe even joining the educator side of this organization. If you do know someone that is trying to quit smoking or nicotine, you could try to help them by suggesting hypnosis. Hypnosis can also be used for smoking cessation. Although it's mostly used for therapy, but as stated by the Gale Encyclopedia of Nursing and Allied Health in the entry Smoking Cessation, some people also use hypnosis to fight their addiction to nicotine, especially if there is a mental conflict such as phobias and panic attacks. If you didn't know already, hypnosis is a trance-like state in which the individual's direct attention is detached from his or her immediate environment and is absorbed by inner experiences such as feelings, cognition, and imagery. This helps a lot because hypnosis targets the subconscious mind or engraved patterns or habits such as the urge to smoke.
Now that we're coming to the end of our speech, I hope you'd all three think about how many times you might pull out your vape today. Your health is more important than those couple of seconds of relief after a nicotine buzz. Set a goal and try to lean off of it. Even though nicotine is one of the most 5 addicting substances, you can leave it out of your life, or at least try. We're not telling you to quit right now, or go cold turkey on it, but we're trying to tell you that it's possible and it could be done. It may not be easy or realistic, but we're just trying to suggest that you should quit vaping, or at least hit it less consistently. Maybe even challenge yourself and leave your vape at home and don't travel with it. Now, when it comes to dealing with withdrawals, there's an excellent website who's helped thousands of people with nicotine withdrawals called thetruth.org. Their top 5 tips are exercise, use a distraction, lean on your support system, stress solutions, and celebrating their accomplishments. You can even try other solutions such as drinking liquids from a straw because it imitates the same steps as taking a hit from your vape. Flush out your body from toxins and get healthy again, because ask yourself, do I really want to risk my life and my health and just for a couple of seconds of relief? Do I really want to spend $20 a week just to indulge into chemicals? Most of us don't even eat foods which contain red 40, which is a synthetic dye, which are common in dairy products. And we refrain from buying products or any foods that contains the red 40. But why are we not worried about what we're inhaling? Refrain from smoking consistently and be aware and conscious of your body. You only get one, so there's no redo.